One aspect of scuba diving is that it's a social affair. But unless your partner dives or your friends go scuba diving, who are you going to go diving with? Hi all of you awesome scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diving Magazine channel, your favourite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. Yeah, if you don't travel with a dive buddy, then before you go diving, you're going to need to find one, and not all dive buddies are made the same. The best way to get yourself a dive buddy is to literally make one. Get your non-diving friends to take a course and go on trips with you. We need all the divers that we can get, so the more that we can make, the better. Just get them to go on like a tri-dive with your local diving club and just see where it goes from there. But in this video, I'm going to break down how to find a good dive buddy and also how to be a good dive buddy. Today's video is sponsored by Explorer Ventures, who organise liveaboard trips all around the world. So if you're tired of the same old beach diving and you're yearning to explore a world hidden beneath the waves, then take the plunge with Explorer Ventures, who will whisk you away to dive destinations that will leave you speechless. So imagine weightlessly drifting alongside vibrant coral reefs, teeming with exotic fish of every colour imaginable, and encounter playful dolphins, graceful manta rays, even the prehistoric looking sharks. Uncover the secrets of the deep, explore historic shipwrecks, and witness marine life unlike anything you've ever seen before. Their dive guides are there for your safety and comfort, allowing you to focus on the incredible underwater spectacle unfolding before your eyes. At Explorer Ventures, they create scuba diving experiences that will ignite your passion for the ocean and leave you with memories that will last a lifetime. You can visit them at explorerventures.com and discover the magic of the underwater world. If you're going on a dive trip by yourself, then chances are you're going to meet other solo divers at the dive centre or on the liveaboard, and you may even be paired up with them by one of the dive guides, or you'll just be diving with one of the guides themselves if you paid for like a dive package. The dive guides, they'll look at the dive roster of everyone who's going diving with them, and they look at the unbuddied divers and they match up those who need matching. They'll already know like your dive count, how many dives you've got, your qualification levels and whatnot, and they do their best to pair them all up. But if you're not matched up, you just turn up and it's just a group of other divers. Just be friendly and ask around as early as possible. If there's like a group of divers there that you're all diving together, and it's as easy as literally going up to some of the other divers and just saying, hey, I'm alone and I need a dive buddy. There's often plenty of time whilst you're like waiting for people to fill out paperwork and check certification levels and stuff. You're moving your kit onto the boat, you're setting your kit up on a cylinder to like start that relationship and just go, oh hey, I'm by myself. Are you buddied up with anyone? They can say, oh, actually, I've already got a buddy, or no, actually, I'm looking for a buddy as well. So yeah, you want to do it as early as possible. Instead of like literally putting your BCD and your regulators in, hey, you want a buddy up? That doesn't work. Do it as early as possible because you want a quick chat with the other diver well before you jump in the water. You want to ask a few questions without coming across like a police interrogation. You want to know roughly how long they've been diving. So, hey, how long have you been diving? When did you start? That kind of thing. Just to know roughly what like qualification or maybe skill level the other diver is, how much experience they have. And of course you want to know when their last dive was to try and work out if you're like similar skill levels. If they say, oh yeah, it was only like a month or so ago, great. If there's like, hey, oh, it's been like 10 years or something, oh, you got to bear that in mind. If you have one diver who's super experienced and the other is green, then you could end up with like diver separation, where the experienced diver wants to go further or expects that the green diver to just keep up, or the experienced diver has to like end their dive with half a tank of gas left in their cylinder because the green diver has burnt through their gas faster. So if you feel there is an asymmetrical skill level, then just ask around if there's a better pairing. Be smart about this though, as not to insult the other diver, because there may not be an alternative and you're diving with them regardless. You don't want to say, hey, I don't want to go diving with this one. Is anyone else? No, just be tactful about it, obviously. If there isn't like a pool of divers available and you're looking for someone to go diving like nearby, if you just started out and you want to go diving nearby but you don't have a buddy, or you're traveling somewhere and you're planning this diving trip, again, you don't have a diving buddy who's going with you and it's not like a planned dive, it's just you getting the equipment and jumping into the water. Don't just turn up on the day and expect someone to go diving with you. You need to find a buddy first, ideally, because very few divers will be at a dive site just milling around and be willing to, like, or able to be just let you tag along. So you can message local dive clubs and diving forums and just say, hey, I'm planning this dive around this time of year. Is anyone like happy to go diving with me? Some online forums actually have special sub-forums for finding dive buddies, because there are plenty of divers out there in all corners of the world just waiting for the chance to go diving. And things like there could be a cancellation where a diver has like planned everything out, and then it's gotten to the actual, like, closer to the time and their buddy's fallen ill or something and they need someone to take their place. They can search online and go, oh, hey, this person's looking to go diving. Or yeah, they're just trying to fill their dive roster so they can go diving a bit more. So ask around. There'll probably be somebody who would like to go diving with you, but you have to do it as soon as possible. Most of finding a dive buddy is just about vocalizing your need for a buddy as early as possible. If you leave it until the last minute, then just imagine that you've planned a dive, you've got your own buddy or something, or like a buddy team, you've assembled your equipment, and some stranger just kind of pops up and asks to go diving with you. I mean, I have been in that exact situation and I have said yes to divers before, but I suspect many other divers wouldn't. They'll just go, no, sorry, we already have our dive group planned. There are plenty of divers out there. You just need to get their attention as early as possible, either through social media that they frequent, or like locations that they tend to gather, like dive centers in the area and dive sites. So message them as early as possible and just say, hey, I'm looking for a buddy. The best advice that I can give you about being a good dive buddy is to be predictable, to communicate, and to think of yourself as half of a team as opposed to just diving yourself. Think about what your buddy may be trying to accomplish and think about how you can help them. Talk and discuss things. You don't need to discuss absolutely everything about your life up until this point, but a good dive buddy will communicate things so that you work as a team. Before you do something, just let your buddy know. Oh, hey, I'm gonna start assembling my gear. Oh, actually, I forgot my dive computer in the car. I'll be back in a minute. Whatever it is, just vocalize it, because your diver might just turn around and you're not there and go, huh, okay, so just vocalize it. The same underwater, stop, I'm going this way. Or like your current gas level, just to keep one another up to date with what you're doing, what's going on with you, so that you can do it together as opposed to not ending up as like two solo divers. Before the dive, before we even getting kitted up, I just want a quick chilled out chat about the dive ahead from your perspective, so that I know that we're both on the same wavelength and we're both going to be completing the same dive. Just a simple chat with a map in front of you. Yeah, so we're going to start here, we're going to go down here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, whatever it is. that can just highlight how your plans may differ, because from their perspective, they may have thought of something a little bit different and go, oh, I thought we were here. No, actually we're here. So, oh, okay, that's going to help with a lot of issues in the water. Just to run through it in your mind together so you both know. I mean, personally, I've been on dives with several professional tier divers, and in the first 5 minutes, I was the only one who could point to the correct penetration point on a wreck, even after a briefing. They were all kind of sat there just going, oh no, I thought it was there. I was like, no, it's that one. We're going to go through there, and then we're going to sort of work our way up through the decks. If you feel like you're like the green diver and you're paired up with a much more experienced diver, or whatever it is, you're just unsure on something, don't be afraid to mention anything that you're unsure about. The other diver may just assume that, yeah, you're cool with something that you're actually not, and it's far easier to explain things before you're kitted up than when you're actually in the water that, hey, actually, I don't want to go in shipwrecks or something. Regardless of your skill level or how many dives that you have logged, run through your pre-dive safety check. I know it's repetitive, but you can eliminate many equipment-based incidents by checking each other's gear before a dive. You hear so many stories of divers like starting a dive and then realizing that their air isn't actually turned on. That would have been eliminated through a pretty fundamental pre-dive safety check. Safety checks, above and beyond ensuring that both of your dive gear is functioning and switched on properly, it familiarizes you with their dive equipment and their setup as well, which may be quite different to what you're familiar with. For example, in an emergency, if someone handed you this second stage to breathe from, bear in mind, you've just run out of gas. Would you immediately know where the purge button is or how to control the buoyancy on this BCD? This BCD doesn't have an inflator hose, and your buddy who's actually wearing it is unresponsive. In an emergency, you don't want to have to figure things out. You should have already gone through it through your pre-dive safety check, and you'll know, hey, I pushed this button, or here's the purge button. In the water, it goes without saying, but I'm just going to say it anyway, don't touch marine life or go pick up souvenirs. Despite every training agency teaching their divers not to touch stuff, it still happens. Stop it if that's you. But as a buddy of somebody doing something wrong, you need to confront them the right way. You can't just rip their mask off, as effective as that is. That could cause some divers to panic and just bolt to the surface, and now you have to explain your actions in a nice suit to a judge. I find a shoulder squeeze quite effective in the water, and just a talking to later. You don't want to get into like a physical fight in the water, rip them away and do something, because then people get very defensive. You don't want to get in a physical fight out of the water as well, so don't like lay into them. You've got to be tactful. Just let them know in the moment that they're doing something wrong, and then you can elaborate later. I know some people will say, oh, bring a slate and then you can write things down. In the water, that's just a bit much. So I'm just like, no, just, you're doing something wrong, and then later on you say, oh, hey, yeah, remember when I sort of squeeze your shoulder, you shouldn't be doing that, such and such. If you're on a guided dive, mention it to the guides, and bear in mind that some divers have actually been convicted of crimes after footage of them doing something underwater was reviewed by authorities. So yeah, just keep your hands to yourself. When you're in the water, think about the other diver and what they can actually see. And also think about what's annoying for you. Do you find it annoying when your buddy swims off and ignores you? Yeah. Don't do that yourself. Don't swim away from your buddy and ignore them. And if you like can't find your buddy, that's pretty annoying as well. So try to stay shoulder to shoulder with them. You don't have to be like leaning against them, but just stay in the same place and always remain on the same side. Don't swap and just move around. A good predictable dive buddy, I know, will always be on one particular side. So I always try and stay on that same side so that my buddy will only need to look in one direction to find me. I want to be able to like glance in their direction and see them, or at least their torch beam or some part of them. If your regulator does fail or do something unexpected, you want your buddy to be right where you expect them to be, so you don't need to waste time looking for your dive buddy before you can breathe again. You want them to be right there. Stick to the dive plan. I know cool things can pop up like around corners and things, but you need to be predictable. If there's something worth exploring, but it's not on the dive plan, take note of it and you can return later and plan a dive around exploring that. And if you want to stop or do anything off of the plan, tell your buddy first. If you see a whale shark and you like double back to go take a photo without telling me, I'm just going to continue expecting that you're by my side. I know you want to go and see that whale shark, but just give me a tap first. Otherwise, you're going to swim off, and should your regulator fail, you now need to swim after me all the way back to a diver that's probably swimming away from you on whatever gas is still left in your lungs. So try not to swim away without at least confirming that they know you're swimming in this direction. In a perfect world, you'll always be buddied up with another diver of similar levels, and you're both on the same wavelength and you both have a great time. Sometimes there will be an asymmetrical buddy dynamic where one diver will be more experienced than the other, and there are a few considerations for both to be the best buddies possible. For the less experienced diver, it's important that you're honest about your skill and comfort level. If there's something that you're unsure about, like current or wreck penetrations or something, or you don't want, just anything that you don't want to do, mention it. I'd far rather somebody say on the surface before the brief that actually I don't want to go inside the shipwreck. Cool, we can just check it out from the outside. I'd rather that than for me to like continue with the dive plan as is in my mind. We go inside and then I now need to double back because you haven't followed me, or for you to go somewhere that you're uncomfortable being. So well beforehand, just say, hey, actually, I don't want to do wreck penetration. Yeah, that's fine. For the more experienced diver, you need to find the balance between being helpful and being arrogant. You want to give them some useful tips to improve their diving, but don't put them off or be condescending. Just small things like, hey, I noticed that you're inflating your BCD a lot in the water. That can come across as a bit condescending, but if you add, did you want to spend some time doing like a proper weight check with me so I can help you out? That gives them an opportunity to improve themselves without feeling insulted. It's just finding that fine tuning. And also, don't shoot off. You'll be surprised at how fast you are in the water compared to newer divers. You've got your years of technique, streamlining your equipment and maybe fancier equipment, making you more efficient in the water, and it can be very easy to outpace newer divers. And if they then try to keep up with their scissor kicking, they're going to burn through their gas faster than you know. So just check on your buddy a bit more frequently until you can gauge how quickly. Maybe let them set the pace of how fast you're going, and just make sure that they are where you think they are a bit more frequently. Take note of their gas pressure compared to yours so that as you're checking your gauges, you know kind of where they are, and maybe ask them every now and again, especially when they're straight after like courses. They're quite used to instructors asking how much gas they have, but try and work it out for yourself. Finding a dive buddy is like many things in life. If you don't ask, you don't get. You need to put yourself out there because a potential buddy isn't going to find you. They're not going to like knock on your door at your house and go, hey, are you looking for a dive buddy? That doesn't happen. So you have to let them know that you need a buddy to go diving with. The easiest way is on a liveaboard. Every single liveaboard that I've ever started, I've started as a single diver, and then I've just been paired up with somebody. And as the trip goes on, as some divers want to rest, they skip dives, you mix and match dive buddies. After a couple of days on a liveaboard, you're all friends anyway, and you've like subconsciously gauged everybody's skill levels. So it's quite easy to mix and match dive buddies. So as long as you do your pre-dive checks before with every new diver and with every diver you're diving with, and you'll dive responsibly, you're all going to have a great time. Just always try and think about diving as a team as opposed to selfishly, and remember that very few things in scuba diving, like equipment configurations and even hand signals, are universal. So make sure that you're both on the same level before you jump in. It's a lot easier to explain things than when you're in the water. Remember to check out today's sponsor, 𝐸ploreradventures.com, by clicking this link up here in the corner, or the affiliate link that's down in the description under this video. And remember to like and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube for more scuba diving content. We've got some exciting equipment videos coming up. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.